discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
I am Pete.
And I'm Giff.
That was my first time doing that in a while, and I didn't screw up this time, so that's pretty
Very good.
Maybe you needed some time off.
I think
Right back
so.
in the saddle, though. Now
I had to
you're
be
fresh.
scared to my wits
Mhm.
and almost die, and now I'm okay again.
You did die. Yeah, I
Amazing.
thought you were dead.
I don't even know.
We go through this
Miracle.
every time. Okay.
All right. Well, what are we doing tonight, Pete? We have very important business to begin with.
Let's start by opening the yearbook.
Yeah.
The page. Can I tell them what page we're going to?
I
Please
think
do.
you should.
All right, page 2014.
Yeah, we just
That's a
finished
big yearbook.
1992,
Yes, we did.
and now we're zooming ahead in time again.
Yeah.
But you know what? This is 9 years ago already, so you'd think
It
that's
doesn't-
not that
it's-
long
it's-
ago, but it's almost a whole decade ago.
Seems like it should be about 3 years ago.
Right.
If
But
that.
then when you go back and think about the things that were going on back then, it's like, holy crap, that's a
Well, what a
lot of years.
segue, Gifford. Why don't you tell us what was going on in 2014 for you?
Well, for me, I think back to what my kids were doing, how old my kids were, and what they were up to. So, like this year, my oldest Sam was 8. He turned 9 this year, so he was 3rd grade going into 4th grade. Of course, hockey's always a big deal in our family. So he was a 2nd-year mite at the beginning of the year, and the end of the year he was a 1st-year squirt, which is travel hockey at that point. So a lot of weekends in the car, driving all around the northern part of the state. He was on an absolutely horrible team. I think they ended up winning like 2 games or 3 games that whole year. So it was super long, but still fun because it's fun to be with the parents and get to know all these people. Paul, on the other hand, was he turned 5 this year, so he was in preschool still. Not in hockey, and since I didn't have 2 kids in hockey, that meant I was still curling. So I curled with my brother-in-law and a couple other friends, and it was just a late on Tuesday evening league. It's really more so, it's kind of like a bowling league. You're there to just get out of the house and have a few drinks, which was nice. So that was kind of the stuff that I had going on. Don't really remember any trips or anything with 2 young kids. So yeah, that was about it for 2014, the highlights that year.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. That was well done.
That's one way to put it.
I don't
Yeah.
have much. You can go ahead,
Short.
Brad. So
Oh.
we'll just
You want me to
dive
go
right
next?
into Brad if you have something.
Well, so in the summer of 2014, we went on what I would call probably the greatest 2-week road trip of our lives. Our lives. My wife and I and our 2 kids, who were 8 years and 6 years old at the time. So in the previous fall, I had won at a silent auction. There were 4 park hopper passes to Disneyland in California and the California Adventure Park.
Oh,
And it was like a minimum bid of $100. And I wrote down $105, and nobody else bid on them. So I got 4 tickets to Disneyland for $105.
Are you still a little ticked off about the $5 you wasted?
No, I was not at all. It was a pretty amazing night. I'm texting Kim while we're watching this, like, as it's about to end. I'm like, we're going to Disneyland. And it was very exciting. So then we've tried to figure out, okay, so when are we going to go? And are we going to fly? And we just bought this van 2 years before. I'm like, we're going to use it for road trips. So we planned out a road trip. And once I started looking at a map, I love maps. And so I'm going to run.
Well,
Huh?
sorry, was it like Clark Griswold at the beginning of Vacation with
Exactly
the
what
car
I'm
that's going
saying.
Very
across
much
the
so,
country?
yes. So we got in a family truckster, and I can't even tell you how many references we made in those 2 weeks to the movie Vacation, including taking a giant minion that I won for Isla at Legoland and putting it on the roof of the van and taking a picture with a hood over it like Anna was dead. It was
Nice.
a wonderful time.
Oh, well done.
So we went through the Black Hills, and we went to Devil's Tower, and then we went through all the way through Wyoming, and we went to Dinosaur National Park in Colorado, kind of on the border of Colorado and Utah. We went through Utah. We went to Vegas for a night, and then we got to California, and we spent 3 nights in Anaheim. We went to Disney for the whole day. open to close all the way through. We went to the beach there, and we had a great time. And then we went to San Diego, and we went to Legoland, and we went to the zoo.
I love
And then
San Diego.
And then it's like, okay, so do we just kind of drive back, or are we going to go the long way around? And I had always wanted to go to Carlsbad Caverns, and I'm like, well, that's really not, on the way, but it's on that half of the country.
Right.
So from San Diego, we drove to Tucson. We went to Saguaro National Park, spent a night there. We went to Tombstone. We went to El Paso. Nearly got killed in a desert storm on the way.
Desert storm.
It was called a haboob.
Oh, I've heard of
giant windstorm. We saw a U-Haul truck being carried by a truck. It got blown off the road, like right in front of us. It was insane. It was crazy. It was very, very scary. But it made for a great story that we had at the time. Then we went from El Paso to Carlsbad Caverns, and then we went to Roswell, New Mexico, up to Denver, and then finally from Denver worked our way back through Nebraska and to Minneapolis.
Is Roswell worth going out of your way for? That's what my question is.
Roswell?
Roswell.
No,
yeah.
But Roswell was one of the biggest letdowns. But Carlsbad Caverns,
that's what I was.
Carlsbad Caverns was on the way, and that was worth it. It was awesome.
Well, no,
Roswell wasn't out of the way. We went there.
I was thinking that Roswell was probably going to be a disappointment. And so a lot of people think it's cool because of the aliens and everything, but
no, there's not much there.
Just dumb. Yeah.
So anyway,
tourist trap.
This is one of the best times we ever had, and there were no arguments. The kids were the perfect age. They were just amazing for the whole trip. The van was amazing. It was a great time.
All right.
I have two other things from that year really quick. So I don't know if either of you are going to bring up, that was our 20th class reunion.
Oh,
yeah. And I basically remember it because it was like the week after we returned from our trip, and I had been, posting all this crap. And so everybody was like asking me all these questions about it. And, oh, what a great trip and everything. So that's why I
felt like a celebrity.
What was the highlight of the class reunion that year? What did we?
We were at the golf course. It wasn't a big one. We were down in the basement of the golf course.
Because we went we were on the boat for the 15 year, right? Yeah. Okay.
Right, and we're going to be on the boat for the next one.
That's right.
That's the 30 year, which is coming up. I can make that announcement to our listeners that haven't that didn't know that.
RTR class 1994. We're looking forward to another boat cruise.
That was my big memory, and that's what I've got. So Pete, it's over to you.
I don't have much to share because it was.
Come up with something. Jesus.
Well, our daughter would have been 2, and our son would have been turning 6. And so we looked through the album the other day. We didn't really have much to share. The biggest highlight of the year would have been probably the class reunion that you've alluded to, which are always fun.
Which you plan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There's some work in there. Putting all that together.
Yeah. So I don't have much else, but that was a good story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so when you get into these more recent years, it's harder to have memories.
Well, and I did have a couple things.
Well, not just that. It's when you get to this age that we're at, it's harder to remember anything. So
right. So you need that one big thing that you remember from the year, and I did have that. So
I don't remember what I had for breakfast this morning.
So
true.
This was the year that we lost Robin Williams. He died in 2014. It was that long ago.
We should have done a whole episode about him.
Right? Yeah, we should have. But we lost him, gone, but definitely not forgotten. But
I can't believe that's one that I can't believe that was that long ago. Also,
yeah.
I guess I can. I don't know. I don't really remember it that well, so feels like it's been a while.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to get into our drafts for 2014. Which one do we want to do first, gentlemen?
I think we're doing movies.
I got movies on my list.
All right.
So it's going to be Pete, Gifford, and then me. And so what movies came out in 2014? Which ones did we watch? Which ones do you remember there at home? Listen in to find out.
All right. Well, do you want me to just dive right into my number one pick? I
guess you should. That's kind of how a draft starts.
My number one pick. It was easy. This is my number one with a bullet. My pick is American Sniper. Even though this isn't one that would really be in my wheelhouse, I just thought it was so well done and an interesting story and just a great movie overall, and I loved every minute of it. So,
It was a good
American
movie.
Sniper. Yes,
It
it was
was.
fantastic.
It's quite good. I am gonna go with a movie that I enjoy watching every single time I see it. That is Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt.
I was gonna see if I could get that one, but I figured you'd get it before me. We've brought that up a few times on this show before when we talked about Groundhog Day and some other things. And that was such it's a sneaky good movie because
It is.
when you think of Tom Cruise, I don't think it's one people think of very often, and it's so good.
It is. Yeah, it's awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, that leaves for me my number one choice, which we are going to discuss in 2 weeks, and that is the movie Gone Girl, David Fincher's adaptation of the fantastic novel.
Yeah.
And I watched it last night, by the way, and my God, I love that movie.
I watched it again not too long ago, maybe a month or two ago, and oh man, it's a
That
tough
third
one.
act, it's almost Roadhouse like how crazy it is.
Just bonkers. It's bananas.
Bonkers, but in the best way. God, it's
Yeah.
good. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Pete?
All right. My next pick is Monuments Men.
Huh.
Never seen that one.
Pretty good. It's pretty good. It's entertaining.
George Clooney's in that, right?
George Clooney is in that.
He is in
And,
that.
I think we actually just watched it.
Is Matt
about a
Damon in
year
that
ago.
too?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think so, yeah. All right.
All right.
Oh, it's not me. It's Gifford.
No, it is me.
Jumping the gun.
I am going with the first installment in this 4-part series of John Wick.
Okay. Never
Don't
seen
mess
those
with
either.
his dog. Oh, really?
Nope.
Love those movies. The first one is really, really, really fun. Quite a ride.
Quite a ride.
It is.
All right, well, I'm going to pick my favorite, I'm pretty sure my favorite comedy of that year, starring Seth Rogen and one of my favorite women, Rose Byrne, Neighbors, and Zac Efron, who's actually about the best part. He is so great. I remember watching that in Moorhead after, this would have been the year that my wife and I ran a marathon together.
Wow.
And that night we went and saw Neighbors.
Well, isn't that a
Relaxing
nice
in the
story?
movie theater with Dave and his
Excellent.
wife.
All right. So during the pandemic, I think I've mentioned on this show, we watched every single Avengers movie that we could, which was like 30 movies. Some of them, especially the later ones, aren't as good. One of the better ones, in my opinion, was the first Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which came out in 2014. So it qualifies.
It sure
it.
did.
That's the only qualification here is if it came out in
That's
2014.
all that matters.
Or if you're
That's
me,
the
I
idea.
just pick whatever I feel like. Well, shoot, Pete, you took my next pick on that.
Now, by the way, Gifford, 2001: A Space Odyssey did not come out in 2014.
Thank you.
Gifford.
Thank you. Okay, so I think I will go with Christopher Nolan's Interstellar for my third pick, right?
I've never watched that either, actually.
Really? Oh,
Nope.
Please do. It's a good one.
All right. I'm going to pick. Well, there's so many that are kind of equal here. It's hard to pick which one. So I picked Gone Girl first, which was a great book. I'm going to pick another one where I read the book first. Love the book. My favorite author, Jonathan Tropper, and me and our co-host Dave went to see this together when it came out. This is Where I Leave You.
We just watched that movie less than a month ago. That's a pretty fantastic movie and a great
It's an
choice.
excellent movie. Tina Fey, Jason Bateman. Who else is in that? I can't even remember. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Well, it's Jane Fonda is in it.
Fonda.
Who's the rabbi?
Oh,
that was
what's
in
his
Parks
face?
And Recreation.
Parks and Rec. Who?
Well, the guy that played
Adam Driver's in it.
No, that's not who I'm talking about.
I know.
But you're right. But it's the he played the rabbi in the movie you're talking about, and he was in Parks and Recreation. He was
Is it?
well, I can't think of his name. He came
Jesus
later
Christ.
in the series.
Mona Lisa
You know,
and not John Paul.
No.
we'll have to
Different.
look
What's
it
his
up.
name? Is it Ben Schwartz? Is that who we're talking about?
I think so. Yeah. I think that's
Why
right.
can't I'm totally drawing a blank on his name right now.
I
But-
can't think of it either.
Aziz
right.
Ansari's best friend, the Open Entertainment 360. He's a total idiot.
Oh
Yeah,
well,
he's
his best
awesome,
friend
though.
is Jason. Isn't it Jason? No, isn't it?
What's Ben Schwartz? But I can't
Ben
think
Schwartz,
of his
yeah.
name on the show.
Oh. Okay, me neither.
can't-
But anyway, he was
Never-
in the
never saw the
movie
movie.
you're talking about.
Yes,
This
I
is
believe he's
what-
in it too. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, he was in it. He played the rabbi, and he was like friends with the family, like from growing up and everything, so they all knew him. But my next movie, which I read the
John
book.
Raphael.
I read the book and I loved the movie. I'm going with the Lego movie.
Aha.
I read the book. Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha.
Actually,
All right.
this is funny. There are so many of these where there are books that I read. I got at least one more for sure here.
Did you read the book Captain America: Winter Soldier?
No.
No, neither did
There
I.
you're
But I'm
going-
gonna pick it as my
Going down the
movie.
Avengers route again.
Yes,
I
and
don't have any Avengers movies on my list. They don't make it that far. It's too many.
There is a lot. It's hard to argue that
Some are way better than others, that's for sure.
Mhm.
Yes, and they're still making them.
Yeah.
And with such clever names like The Marvels. I mean, Jesus Christ, come on. All right, well, I'm going to keep the theme going. I'm going to pick another book that I read. I fell in love with. It's a young adult book. I teach kids, but it's a great book for adults too. My wife loves this book. My kids read this book. The Fault in Our Stars, starring Ansel Elgort from Baby Driver and what's her face? So I'm having a tough time tonight with names. She was on Big Little Lies.
All right. Okay, I think I'm making my last pick. How
Sure.
about the Hunger Games?
The original? Is that the one that came out this year?
Yeah, that's what I had on the list.
I have not seen any of those movies.
I've seen that one.
Okay. Well, I am going to round off my list with another superhero movie. I'm going X-Men: Days of Future Past. That was a fun one, bringing in old characters along with the new class. So I'm going with that one.
That was the next one on Brad's list, I'm sure.
Yep.
Nope, you didn't snipe that one. Okay, so I could take a movie. Well, I'm gonna go with Birdman.
There you
Oscar
go.
winner.
Yep.
Love Michael Keaton. I've only ever think I've watched it the one time, and I did enjoy it a lot. And it's such a cool movie because the movie's like filmed or seems like it's filmed all in one shot.
All
Clearly,
in one shot.
couldn't-
Yeah,
it couldn't have been, but
so
you don't know
many
how they did
long
it.
sequences.
so
Yeah.
that would be. I'll take the Oscar winner to round it out. Got a lot more listed yet here.
All right.
Yeah. You want to mention a few?
So you mentioned
Yeah, go for it.
the Lego movie, Pete. I have that as I have 3 kids movies at least here. The Big Hero 6 is one of the best Disney movies of the
It's
of
on
the
my
recent
list, yep.
times. And The Muppets Most Wanted came out. I do like the movie. It's one of these dumb movies that when it's on, I think it's funny. The Other Woman with Cameron Diaz and Kate Upton. And the one I really like is God, I cannot think of anybody tonight. Leslie Mann.
You're a
Leslie
little
Mann's
rusty.
married, and the guy's cheating on her with Cameron Diaz, and then it turns out Kate Upton is too, and the 3 women all get together and figure it out and like form an alliance. It's actually pretty funny.
Okay.
You
Different
are a
people.
little rusty,
It's-
having died recently. Considering that,
Yes.
you're doing pretty well.
I got 22 Jump Street. Boyhood, another Oscar bait movie. We talked about Richard Linklater with Dazed and Confused. That was, he made that movie over 20 years. That's such a cool
Is
concept.
it that long? I thought it was 12. Holy cow, 20 years. Okay. I think we may have lost Brad momentarily there. Well, I'll jump into
keep it going. Go
I'll
for
jump into a few that I've got on my list. Of course, I know Brad was going to get to this one. The Grand Budapest Hotel is one of his favorites from that year. The the Godzilla movie came out this year, which kind of started the whole Godzilla, King Kong, clash of the monsters. So that was kind of fun. Fury with Brad Pitt, the tank movie. Foxcatcher came out this year. Horrible Bosses 2,
Yep,
which was
I had
another
that
good one. And Brad and I definitely love this movie because it's centered around drummers, and that is Whiplash. So I have a few there. Pete, you got anything else on your
couple
list?
that I had that I don't think have been mentioned. The second Garfield Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
Transformers: Age of Extinction. And Night at the Museum: Secret of the Tomb came out that year.
Can you hear me?
That's what.
Yep.
Yeah, we're good. We got Brad back.
Oh, okay. It says I'm
revived
connected
him once again.
so-
maybe your Wi-Fi's dying this time.
So I got through Boyhood.
Yeah.
Okay, Sex Tape was funny with Jason Segel and Cameron Diaz.
Saw that one. That one.
You don't remember that one?
I don't think I saw it. I
Anna-
know what you're talking about, but yeah.
One of the horror movies my kid got me to watch is Annabelle. I
Oh.
did have Whiplash, so you got that one right, and Horrible Bosses 2. The Interview, I liked it way better than I would have expected, actually, because those guys
Really?
can kind of greet. But yeah, no, that was actually really funny.
Okay.
Selma, about Martin Luther King, and then Unbroken was a fantastic movie about the guy from the World War II that was in a POW. I mean, he was, that one.
Yep.
So there were a lot of great movies that year.
There were.
Absolutely. Should we
Now
move on?
we're going to go to music, and it's going to be a little different, especially for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's all right. We're having fun.
All right.
Yeah, this is gonna be tough for me, but I think I got enough to where I can work my way through this.
Okay. So I'm first for music, followed by Pete, and then Gifford.
Okay,
So
go for it.
I'm going to pick, maybe not the one you think I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the album that took everybody by storm, and it's Taylor Swift, 1989.
That's exactly the one that I knew that you were going to pick.
Oh, well,
Let's
because
see.
my other favorite band came out this year, too, and I'm leaving it for you.
It's the only album that I
I'm gonna
had
go
down.
with-
By the way, I saw the Taylor Swift movie version of the concert, and you guys you should go see it. It is incredible.
We do
Yep.
plan to. We do.
Oh, good
plan
for
to.
you.
Yes.
Since you guys got into her and we did a podcast on her, you should go see it.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go with the one, Brad, that you probably were referring to. I love the documentary that came along with it. Foo Fighters, Sonic Highways.
Right.
Are really great songs, and
That's
we
my
went
number
to the
2.
concert for that. Afterwards, we had great seats for that. Was that what year was that we went to that?
No,
Foo
it was
Fighters?
2015.
Okay, well then
Because
forget
that
it.
one I
share the
remember
memory.
because we went to the Black Hills, and remember I drove home from Rapid City all in one
just to
day
be there in
in
time, for the
time to
concert.
make it to that concert. A 9-hour drive, got back for the concert.
And no regrets.
Oh, it was great.
Awesome. Well,
And that
I
was
don't
the one
have.
where Dave Grohl was in a chair where he had broken his
Oh.
leg, and he played the concert in his big throne.
Right.
Very memorable.
Well, I had one album on my list. Otherwise, I got all songs. Of course, Brad sniped that with the number 1, as he should have with Taylor Swift. I'm going songs here, so I got Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars. That's going to be my number 1 pick.
That's a fun one.
That actually is on my list too, Gifford. I actually love that song.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear it.
All right. I'm going to take for my second pick a band that we discovered, I think, 5 years ago, but they had an album that came out in 2014. And Pete is a fan of them as well now. And that is Blood Red Shoes.
Yes.
This was their 4th album, I think, but it is a self-titled album.
All right. Green Day came out with an album in 2014, Demolicious. Can't go wrong with Green Day.
I don't think
Yeah,
you
I
can.
saw that on the list, and I don't even know what that is. So I don't think you ever listened to it, but
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I'm just
It's
saying.
Green Day. You cannot go wrong with Green Day.
I
Now
agree.
shut up and move on.
All right. So my number 2 pick, I'm going to take the song Problem by Ariana Grande featuring Iggy Azalea. I like
Don't
that
even know
song.
that
I don't.
song.
What's that?
Don't even know it.
Oh, you know it. You know it if
I bet I
if you
don't. I'm
listen
not
to it.
kidding.
You had a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old. I'm sure you've heard that song quite a bit.
Do you know when that what was that country, not the country song, but the big huge song about the guy going Old Town Road. That song had been everywhere for like a year and I had never heard it before. Those kind of songs go right over my head. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Huh.
Well,
All right.
I think you have a problem, but I
Okay.
have it for my number 2.
I think it's not my problem.
It's not a problem at all. We're having fun here.
Yeah, we're having fun, damn it.
What's
All
your
right,
third
Brad, what
pick
do you
for
got?
fun, Pete? Oh, it's me
Mine.
again.
Yeah, it's Brad.
What's that?
Okay.
Brad again.
Then I will take so this album got a ton of hate because it was released to everybody's iTunes, whether they wanted it or not. And that is Songs of Innocence by U2. And being a U2 fan, I didn't care because I was going to get it anyway. And I think it's really good. I think it took a ton of crap because of that, but if you actually listen to it, it's a really good U2 album. There's a bunch of songs I love on it. Now, if I was them, I probably would have just made it free to go get. It didn't have to get put into your library.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's the issue there.
Imagine if
Right.
it's a band you hated,
I know.
and
So it's like, and that's
got
what I
what
thought
you're
at first.
saying.
It's just going to be free to go, get it. But they
Sure.
actually put it into your library, and that's where it got, the controversy.
yeah.
But as a U2 fan, great album.
I have to pay homage to an American treasure that we just recently lost about 2 or 3 months ago. Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga did not pass away, but Tony Bennett did.
So did lose to
Cheek to Cheek is the album that came out.
Now that one, I'm surprised it's that old.
Yeah, I am too.
All right, I am going to take a little song called X's and O's by Elle King.
That's on my list too.
Really?
Yeah,
Love that song. That
was a
reminds
really
me
catchy song.
That reminds me of a good friend of mine, Dina, who listens to us occasionally from Fergus Falls. I think that was her ringtone for a while.
And do you know the fun fact about Elle King?
That's Rob Schneider's daughter.
That's it. You got it.
Okay, thank you. Yay!
All right, back to me. All right, so I'm going to pick another album of a band that my niece, actually probably both of my nieces, got all of us into. And they are from England, and this was their debut, Catfish and the Bottlemen, and it was called The Balcony. And I've actually seen them in concert 2 times, and they are really awesome.
I'll have to check that out.
It's very catchy fun. And it's not like teeny. I mean, it's like they're a rock band. It's good stuff.
Excellent. Speaking of rock bands, Pete's next pick is
Smashing Pumpkins, Monuments to an Elegy.
It's like I'm clairvoyant over here.
Remember, Pete told us not to quiz him on what's on these albums.
That's right. We're having fun.
I'm guessing
we're having fun.
I'm guessing Smashing Pumpkins is on that album. Am I right, Pete?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm batting 1,000. I'm killing it. Awesome. All right.
It's a Smashing Pumpkins
I'll
album.
tell you what, Pete.
That's what I just said, didn't I?
I won't ask you what's on the albums if you don't ask me what songs my albums are from. How's that sound?
Okay.
All right. We got a understanding. My next song that I'm gonna go with, I think I'm gonna do "Bang Bang," Jessie J, Ariana Grande, and Nicki Minaj. A lot of girl power on my.
I don't have enough room to write all these damn artists down. I'm gonna have to look these back up when I type up.
Well,
these.
and when you look them up, listen to them, and you'll be a toe tapper.
Oh, that one I know I've heard before.
Okay.
That one,
Do you want to
I don't
sing a
like
couple
it.
of lines for us? It'd be...
Yeah. The first line is bang, and the second line is bang.
All right.
All right. For my last pick, I am going to pick the band, Pete, who opened for the Foo Fighters in that 2015 concert. And this is a kick-ass band who, it's only 2 guys, and this is the XL Energy Center, and they just blew the roof off it. Royal Blood.
Oh yeah.
They sang Well, I can't think of the names right now, but
Get a lot of blood in your picks. That's the
Mhm.
second
Blood Red Shoes and Royal
that's a
Blood.
Yeah.
It's the second blood in a row that I think
And
you have.
U2 has blood on their hands from their decision to give everybody their album.
Oh boy.
All right, that was a stretch.
I like
Not
it,
as much
though.
of a stretch as the ones you're picking.
Oh
up.
no! Say we weren't
Shut
going to
up.
say anything, Brad. We weren't going to say anything.
I can't wait to see what his next one is.
Just don't pick mine.
Oh, am I up?
Yeah,
Yep.
you're up, Pete.
Well, I'm going to go with a local angle.
Ooh.
Prince. Art Official Age came out that year. I think that must have been his last album, because he died in 2016,
Yeah,
right?
2016.
So
I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff for this band, Third Eye Girl, that came out.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
which was the
yeah.
last one, but
Okay, with my last pick, I'm risking losing Kim's vote on the music here. I am going with Andy Grammer's "Honey, I'm Good."
why? What do you mean?
We were with you one time and that song came on and she goes, "I don't like this song."
Oh, well, I don't think
So-
either one of us
That's
would.
it.
That's a hell of a memory, though. Wow.
I don't like the song.
I'm pretty sure that neither one of us like that song.
I
Sorry.
like that song.
Sorry.
So, I think
do have
I
a
think I'm
couple
good,
others.
honey. All right,
I only-
what do you got?
So actually, you named several of mine, Gifford. I have two others, and that's it. So Tove Lo had an album, and actually the two songs I looked, the song Habits, which was her first big hit that I absolutely loved, actually came out the year before, I think. And then Talking Body was the second big hit, and I thought I saw that came out like the year after. I'm not even sure, but the album came out in 2014, and it had two great songs. It looks like you even know those, Gifford.
Yeah, yep.
Wow, okay. And then my other one, I didn't pick Coldplay, even though we talked about them on the
Mhm.
show once, and I love that band. But that's well, other than maybe the newest albums, that's my least favorite album. It had A Sky Full of Stars, which is a great song, but like the rest of the album, I didn't. There was nothing on there. I didn't like anything else on there.
Sure.
So, but I'll give them a shout out because it's a great song, and it was a band I loved at the time. Do you
One
guys have
song,
anything else?
Yeah, one song that I
good,
heard
thanks.
on a loop basically because of the movie Brad talked about in our segment before, Big Hero 6. Immortals by Fall Out Boy
yeah,
was
I know that one.
constant. Paulie was, singing like crazy to that one. Not a lot of the words, but he was still singing. And I think Courtney's favorite song from this year, Fancy by Iggy Azalea.
Okay, that one I know by Iggy Azalea.
She was a big fan of that one. I liked All About That Bass by Meghan Trainor. It's a catchy little pop tune.
Yeah.
Going Down for Real by Flo Rida. I got a few other ones on here, but we don't need to go through all of them.
Like Flo Rida.
Yeah.
If it would have been My House, I would have picked it.
Sure.
All right. I think Pete's done, right?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Let's move to TV.
Let's move to TV. And Gifford, you're going to lead us off on our last pick of the night, and I'm second, Pete's third.
All right. Well, I am going to go with what we're going to be talking about later this month. I'm going to go with Game of Thrones, which is in season 4 this year. And we will be getting into one of the episodes later in the month.
Yes, we will. And me and Pete haven't ever seen it, so we will get introduced to this show that I've heard so much about.
I probably shouldn't have picked it first since you guys probably weren't going to pick it, but
That's fine.
it's
That's
for
true. You
us.
could have waited, but doesn't matter.
but it's and there's so much good TV in this year.
But
But yeah,
speaking of, I'm going to
Yeah.
pick one that we did talk about on this show. One of maybe my second favorite show of all time, Parks
Okay.
and Rec.
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec.
that was in season six this
Yep,
year.
it was winding down.
Yep.
One that
Pete?
a show that needs to get more love than it does. I think it's a hilarious show. I actually did watch the first couple seasons. Last Man on Earth.
Oh, with
Great
Will
show.
Forte, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dave
That's
Dave
freaking
from
hilarious.
our show would agree with you on that. I know he loves that.
All right. Well, I'm going to take another topic that we're going to be talking about this month. And I'm going to go with Fargo. This was the first season of Fargo.
And we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah. Great pick by Pete.
Yes, it was actually.
Yes.
And we'll get to it when we talk about it, but the timing of it couldn't be any better, which is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, for my second pick, I will take, I love the sitcoms, and one of the other last great sitcoms on network TV was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
There you go.
All right. One of my favorite cartoon shows that has moments even funnier than The Simpsons at times. I don't think it's as good of an overall show, but it's still really good. Family Guy.
Well, I'm going to get my top 3 here, which I'm very excited about. So this was first season for Fargo. It was also the first season for True Detective with Matthew McConaughey.
That's that long ago?
And Woody Harrelson. Yeah.
Okay, that's the biggest surprise to me of the night. That didn't seem like that long ago.
So big fan of that season in particular. So that was going to be possibly one of my picks, or my pick for the month, but went with Game of Thrones.
Oh shoot, I would have liked to watch that actually.
One particular episode?
No, like that first season, I've heard like if you had picked it, I probably would have watched the whole thing, and now I probably
you've never seen it?
No, I haven't. So that would have been the one.
Man,
I know what you're referring to, though, Giff.
Okay.
All right, my next pick. I am going to go with. So, Pete, this is a show that I'm going to snipe from you. I don't know if you found it and put it on your list, but you and me and our wives loved this show and talked about it every week, and that was the reboot of Dallas.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't even on my list.
It ended in 2014.
Very suddenly. It just ended.
Yeah. It's
the Ewing kid dies in an explosion, but then they cancel the show, and so you don't know what actually happened. So,
well, maybe
we might have been the only ones watching it, but we loved it.
Maybe if Andre DiMera had set the bomb off, then they would have been able to bring them back.
Told you to put the bomb on.
Much like we were able to bring Brad back.
You put the bomb on?
Who told you to put the bomb? Do you know what a bomb does? I'm going to get my top 4. I'm so excited.
It's Pete's turn.
Oh, wait.
It's my turn.
Shoot. Well, Pete's not picking my thing anyway, so we're good.
Well, I'm going to take a show that Jenny and I used to watch all the time pretty religiously. Really, really super funny show. We actually saw them in person when they came to Mystic Lake one year. Whose Line Is It Anyway? That's a funny show. If you haven't watched it, it's all improv, and it's freaking hilarious.
I've seen it, but like 20 years ago. I didn't even know.
But it was around that year, so I'm taking it.
Excellent.
Okay, Giff, now you can pick.
Okay, so I didn't get my top 4. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get my top 4. The second season of The Americans was on this
I didn't write
year.
that one down. That's I wonder why.
Well, because it's not network. It's like cable.
I have all my cable shows on here. Somehow I missed that one.
Okay. So anyway.
I wasn't watching it at that time. I watched it later, but I mean.
I wasn't either. I watched it later and caught up before the show actually stopped airing, but excellent show.
All right, I'm going to pick another show that was on for just 2 seasons right at this time. I watched it and loved it. And Dave also, we watched it, both of us. It was kind of this creepy, different show because it's based on Psycho, Bates Motel.
Oh.
I really enjoyed that for at least the first season. I think the first 2, and then I think it went off.
Oh, tick-tock. I will go. I don't even care. I like this show, and I still watch it when I'm flipping through and it comes on.
Don't even care.
I do enjoy watching American Ninja Warrior. I get hooked when it's on. I like it.
That is a great show to record, and then you can fast forward through all the human interest crap.
All shows are great for recording and watching later.
Okay, good to know. Okay, so my last pick.
I wonder if you're going to pick one I have listed here.
Well, I am. I'm going to pick a show that we discussed on our podcast. It was in
Nope.
its last season, and I'm going with How I Met Your Mother.
Ah. I don't have that down either. What?
We're doing 2014, right?
Yeah.
Wait, we are?
I guess that when I looked at, I blanked on that. I would have had that. That would have been on my list.
Yeah, I would have thought
Weird.
it would have been.
I'm one of the few people who enjoyed the ending too. So
Well,
Huh.
and after watching it the second time through, I mean, it's still, there are parts that still tick me off, but it's such a good show.
all right, then I'm going to pick a show that I watched all the way through later, not when it was on, but towards the end of its run. It was on FXX, but it's a really good show. You're the Worst.
I had it on my list. I was wondering if you were going to get to it.
Well, you watched it too?
I started like maybe the first couple seasons. I watched
Yeah,
it.
it was great. The last couple, I wanted to finish it at that point. They weren't as good. I got a little bit over it, but like the first couple seasons, like I was whipping through those. It was,
Mhm.
and the two main leads were really good. And
Yes, they were.
Pete,
right.
what's the end here?
I will wrap it up. I enjoyed it. I'm not afraid to admit it. But
Again,
I'm going with Glee.
Ah,
I enjoyed that show.
I don't know how I
Some
missed
were better
Harvey
than
Spotted.
others. Some they
Yeah.
went over the top, but it was a good show overall. Entertaining.
mhm.
All right, so
I've
the
got-
show that I thought you would
Oh, go ahead.
pick, Gifford, is The League.
Oh, I blanked on that. What
Oh,
season
see?
was it?
It was on from 2009 to 2015, so it was maybe the second to the last.
So second to last. Okay. Yeah, I was still watching it. Yeah, oh man, I missed that one big
You
time.
were a big fan. And then I have another one I watched on Netflix discs. Well, some of it came out. I had to wait for it actually, but Episodes with Matt LeBlanc was a great show.
Yep. Just 2 seasons, right?
No, there was like 5, I think.
Was there really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I brought up this show once on we did some sitcom draft. I don't remember what it was, but the show Married with Nat Faxon and Judy Greer and Paul Reiser, just a fantastic actually I think it was just 1 season. But
Okay.
my wife and I watched it together, loved it, and then they canceled it. There was another show that I think was only 1 season that I watched. It wasn't all that great, but it was called Welcome to Sweden. I think it was on after Parks and Rec. That's why I watched it.
Okay.
The Big Bang Theory was still on. Modern
Yep.
Family was still on.
Yep.
And then I also watched the show Suburgatory that
Oh.
was on for a couple of years there, because I think that came on after Modern Family, maybe. It was
Sure.
okay. It had
cou-
Elton from Clueless.
And a couple that I wanted to mention. This was the last season of The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and it was also the last, the second to last and last season of The Colbert Report. So I was
Oh
pretty
yes,
religious.
great show.
Your favorite shows.
Those
Hey,
were.
have you read the
those were
book? Have
fun.
you read the book?
Which book?
The Stephen Colbert, the Colbert Report book.
I don't know. I got one of
It's
his
called-
that's America.
titled-
Go ahead.
I Am America and So Can You.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I
title.
have that book. Yes.
That's a funny book.
Mhm. So outstanding.
All right. Well, we've opened the yearbook and we've covered a lot of ground already.
Hey, Gifford, you know what band I love and it's not a stretch?
Is it Preacher Row?
That's Preacher Row.
Nailed it, Pete.
Thank you. I always
job.
do. Let's get that right.
All right. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Bye.
Bye.
Standing on my own 2 feet, No one's here to comfort me. Sorry for what I have done. Sorry that your son is gone. 7 steps and it will be my last. Hands tied, tell me on my back. I turn and I look to you. I'm scared but there's nothing I can do.